Griselda is still trying to get the line up so that we could cross over to her. But just in a nutshell, we've seen one body, outside the mall where Griselda is, and it's not yet clear what really what really led to the death of this particular person. And we don't know whether that person was a bystander or one of the looters. And we see a woman carrying clothing items coming out of that particular mall. And my colleague Griselda Lewis is standing by. Griselda, over to you.
Police? Yeah. Well, that's right, Simply. We're live pictures here at the Letsoho Mall. This is in Katlehong. Live visuals, people looting. They've gone right back inside the mall at the moment. Police extremely outnumbered. Take a look at that police officer. He's the one who's firing towards those looters at the moment. And this is what the situation has been at this stage. And while all of this is taking place, the body of someone who has died is still lying here in the middle of the road here. Police are completely outnumbered. The looters are going into this Letsoho Mall, and they've basically taken everything that they've wanted to take. Look, some of them just walking out, that one running in. I mean, because simply they can see that how many police officers, one of them seems to be armed at this particular point. So my colleague Japan Matabula going to focus on that. See, carpets being taken, people going in. That is the situation at this particular point at this mall, and I don't know, Simpira, how this is going to continue, because the issue with it is that, I mean, in full view of police, I'm going to ask you to show the viewers, my colleague to show the viewers. Police are obviously there's nothing that they can do at this particular stage. There you have it. You've got there's someone else coming out at this stage carrying some. There's the police moving in. There you have it. Police are going to be firing rubber bullets at this particular stage, trying to disperse them. All right. Okay, that one about to be. Move back, Japan. Move back. Move back. We're going to move back at the stage. This lady, one of those arrested who's just come out of the mall at this particular stage. Some of the community members. There you have it, that lady. Japan, move back, move back, move back, move back. This is the lady who's being arrested at this stage. One of those who's being arrested at this point. One of the looters, the police have obviously had their hands full. That's all they've managed to get, of course, with the many. All right, I am at Letsoho. I am at Letsoho Mall, which is in Katlehong. That's just to give you an idea of where we are. Letsoho Mall in Katlehong, just to give a sense to the viewers of where we are. This is the lady who's being arrested at this particular. Police continue. You'll have to forgive me. I'm going to try and move. Let's move in this particular way. I'm going to ask my colleague if we can move towards this particular area. You just stay with us there. Try to move in a bit close to where they are. Move here. Stay with me 1 second as police continue to fire as the looting here continues. These are the scenes. Some of the gentlemen here obviously going to be apprehended due to forming some of the looting. All right, let's move towards that direction. Japan, move back that way. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. Stones are being thrown at the police at the moment. Got to try and make sure. These are live pictures from the Letsoho Mall in Katlehong, where the looting continues. We're going to try and stay behind this police line at this stage. I think, guys, let's get out of here, please, because we don't have the protection of police at this particular stage. Well, these are live pictures from the Letsoho Mall, which is here in Katlehong, where you see this is what the case is at this particular time.
You know, Griselda, it's so unfortunate that these people are doing it. I mean, they make it look so normal, the fact that they are looting right in front of police and in full view of the cameras.
More police. All right, let's move in. All right, here police have been brought in. Here the situation quite volatile at this particular stage. Here more police being brought in, trying to disperse the crowd and the looting. Here these police being brought in from this particular area. They've been brought in from that side. You see towards here, as my colleague Japan move towards this direction. Everyone has basic police. Police are basically firing. At the Letsoho Mall here in Katlehong. Going to try and move with police. It's a very tough space to be in. Many of them basically dispersed. Let's show you now exactly what is taking place. Here, some of these. I must say, a lot of restraint being exercised by police here. All right, media here. All right, so this is what Simpiwe, the scenes that you're seeing here. All these shops, alarms have gone off. This is the situation here. Police basically moving in to several of the shops that have been looted. And what is the name of this shop? It's one of the shops that have been looted here. Everything is on the floor. And police have managed now to move the protesters from where they had initially been. At some point, they were at free will coming into this shop. They were at free will coming into this shop, but now they've managed to come in and disperse the crowd from here. But there is nothing left to loot. There's just a few items that are here. Let's see. All right, more people being arrested. Let's go in. Some of them basically trying to hide. Will not show their faces as they've not yet appeared in court. One of the things we have to maneuver through. And what we're also seeing is young children who will not show their faces at this particular point. They've not yet appeared in court. These are just some of the individuals who were found inside this particular store and hiding in here at the time that the looting was taking place. This will give you a general sense of exactly what is taking place, the context within which all of this has been taking place. These shops have been looted. There's absolutely nothing left here. And there's another one leaving. All right, as some try to go, police firing rubber bullets. We're going to try and get out of this particular space where we are at the moment to try and be as safe as possible. Japan, you'll be careful here. Let's just go through. Caught between a rock and a hard place here. Trying to walk through the area where we are. Some of my colleagues from the rest of the media also here trying to, with the assistance, I guess, of police at this particular point, because what they've managed to successfully do now is to have those who are involved in the looting here out of the mall to try and salvage whatever there is. So at this particular part, I think perhaps we should head towards that area because the forensic pathologists had just arrived. Recall, this is the area, the Letsoho Mall in Katlehong. This is the area where the had been found. All right, let's have a look here. Someone else coming out. All right. Some of them surrendering. Some of them surrendering. Some of them coming out and surrendering. All right, some of them trying to escape. Police managed to apprehend them. They're being handcuffed at the moment. And these are the general scenes here where we are.
Griselda, when you spoke to that center manager earlier on, he said that the looting started at around 6 a.m. this morning. 4 hours later, it's only now that the police are taking action. It does appear that the situation is out of control and it's just slipped out of their hands. So just by looking and observing the situation there, what is the proportion of the police personnel in relation to the number of looters that are currently there?
Well, it is a very difficult situation, as you would have seen. What we showed you here at the Letsoho Mall is certainly something that we have managed to witness in our coverage since about 4 o'clock this morning, is that you do have this situation where police don't know what to do at this particular stage. They are outnumbered. There are a number of community members, and there are hundreds, in fact, just here, who are outside the mall. And the 1 minute police are called to one area, you'll find another area is also flaring up. So how do you deal with that situation where you have so many people who are involved in this kind of looting and then police are unable to handle the situation? So that's generally what we're seeing at the moment. And I think what I've also managed to grasp in what we've been able to see, Simpiwe, is that there has to be a certain level of restraint since, I guess, the entire debacle itself had unfolded, where it almost seems like police, are restraining themselves to the best of their ability in trying to ensure that, there isn't as much force as possible. Because remember, also in the past, we've criticized the manner in which police have handled themselves during protests. And I'm going to call these protests because it's protests and looting that is taking place. And I guess in the midst of in them trying to show that show of force, they've also got to make sure that there is a certain level of restraint in terms of how they conduct themselves, and in particular because we have seen over the past 24 hours these protests spreading. Recall that started in Jeppestown, in Denver as well. I'm in Katlehong at the moment, which is on the East Rand. In Ekurhuleni, I recall as well, the executive mayor of Ekurhuleni, Mzwandile Masina, who we publicly announced he is currently contracted the coronavirus and is in isolation at the moment. A statement from his office had been sent out cautioning people not to get involved in this kind of criminal activity. But obviously, since last night, this is what has happened. It has spread to other areas. I think we've driven to about 4 or 5 areas at this particular point. Okay, we're going to move towards this particular. Those who have been arrested will now be taken to the police nyala that has been brought in that has been brought onto the premises here. We're not going to go that far. Hear the community towards the left, Japan, towards the left. Listen to that sound. Community members are heckling as these individuals are being put into the police nyala.
Now, we had an argument, or rather, we had a discussion with my colleague Jadley Polzer with regards to whether there is a need for the intervention of the army and soldiers, because seemingly this situation is out of police hands. I mean, it is totally out of control, and it seems that the police are incredibly under-resourced at this particular moment. As you've mentioned, Griselda, when they are attending to one certain mall, then another incident flares up in another mall, and they have to attend to that as well. And the number of, the looters and members of the community far outnumber the number of police personnel that are on the ground. So do you know at this point whether there is a potential of the intervention of the army?
Well, this is certainly not a call for me to make at this particular stage. You see some of my colleagues also being brought in here, many of the media, as these community members alleged to have been involved in the looting here are now being driven away in the police nyala. You'll watch there and see how stones are being flung. We'll go a bit closer, Japan. You'll see how stones are being flung at the police as they effect this arrest. In fact, it's going to make a U-turn there. I'm going to ask my colleague to just be a little bit safer and come back this way. You'll see that. There you go. Stones being flung at the police nyala as it drives off. Very difficult situation. Again, simply really not a call for me to make in terms of whether the South African National Defence Force should be brought in. Certainly higher authority would need to make that decision, but the situation is certainly out of control. The past 24 hours, what we have seen has escalated and spread to other areas. So certainly a conversation can be had about what needs to happen next. Are these protests going to continue for the next couple of days? Are other areas going to be affected as well? Because what you already have is a situation where a number of industries are saying they simply can't do anything. They'll have to shut down as a result of the sporadic incidents of violence. The number of businesses that have been affected here, remember when I crossed to you just a little bit earlier on, I had indicated that we had some of the police officers who had been brought in here. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I beg your pardon. I'm actually going to do that. All right. Just before we go to, I'm being told to just wrap it up for a few seconds at the moment. I'm going to ask my colleague Japan Matabula very quickly before we cross to my colleague Jadley Polzer. The pathologists have arrived on the scene where the body of what's believed to be one of the residents, I do believe, has... Are you one of the shop owners, sir? You're working here. I'm really sorry to interrupt at this stage. Can you please just tell us what happened?
No, it's not now. I can't talk, please.
All right. And I totally understand that, sir. Looking very distressed, as would be any manager or shop owner at this particular stage over what?
He is coming now.
Who is coming?
The owner.
The owner.
Yeah, we'll check the stock at least.
Yeah. And how many employees do you employ here?
I think 12 or 13 here.
So now you don't know when you're going to open again?
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so I think I'm going to... All right, I think we're going to move from this area. More police continue to fire rubber bullets here. I'm sure you can hear the sound there. Just going to walk out of here, trying to find a bit of a safer area where my colleagues and I would be able to. We'll just show you there the pathologists who have arrived on the scene. The pathologists who have arrived on the scene, and we're expecting in the next few moments. There you have it, the Gauteng Emergency Medical Services arriving. Let's move towards that area. Japan Matabula, and for sensitive viewers, please do understand that there's not much that we can do at this stage, but we will not show you insensitively in particular when it comes to issues of the deceased. You will see that the Gauteng Emergency Medical Services have just arrived. The pathologists themselves have arrived, and I think they will start the process now of removing the body of the deceased here at the Letsoho Mall in Katlehong. A really, really tight rope at this stage. I'm going to do about a 360 turn from where I'm standing at the moment to give you a complete sense. Japan, you can start here. This is where the some of the community members are standing at this particular point. If I move towards here, that's where the body of the deceased is. That the pathologists at the moment having to do their jobs. I'm not in a position at all at this stage, SMPWare, to get any comment from police about the circumstances that led to this. Obviously, all that communication would go through the national department. It would be great, I guess, if the program would be able to get a hold of the national spokesperson, Vish Naidu, who is commenting on this. Community members in shock, some of them very shocked about what has taken place here. But on the other hand, if you move again towards this 360 here, on this other end, the others don't care. They continue with the looting of this Letsoho Mall here, which has been completely damaged. You saw there the manager of one of the stores unable to speak to us and indicating that the owner of the store is on his way. About 12, I think he said, was it employees? That's going to be affected, and I can certainly tell you there's going to be a whole lot more. That's 12 for just that shop, which we showed you just before we came out to the pathologists here. So many others are going to be affected, I guess, over the next couple of days to week. Let me hand over to my colleague, Jadely Paulser, and I'll bring you updated in terms of what is taking place here.
Inside the stores, and that's how most of them have been getting arrested throughout the course of the day, because the police have realized that some of them hide inside the stores, and those who hide inside the stores, Clement, sadly enough, are mostly the females. And then when they are arrested, it's quite sad, because you see them start to beg, please, I need to take this milk and this back to my child. I was doing it for my child. I need to go back home. So the military is here. The military is here, Clement. This is why the people are running. We're going to get you those shots. We're going to go in there and get you those shots, Clement. If you could, if you could just give Teddy and I a moment. Of course, we'll be bumping into a lot of people, but the soldiers are finally in Alexandra, and you're seeing it first on ENCA, Clement. The soldiers are finally arriving in Alexandra. So there's live ammunition. So Teddy and I have to be very careful as we approach the soldiers, because they have no patience, Clement. They are not as patient as police officers. So we're going to show you those shots. There are the soldiers. The South African National Defence Force has finally arrived in Alexandra. They are not trained with things such as rubber bullets and stun grenades, Clement. The soldiers don't deal with things like that. But finally here on ENCA, the South African National Defence Force has finally arrived in Alexandra to help the police. Yeah. The police had to retreat, Clement, because they had run out of live ammunition. So now that the soldiers are here, there's definitely going to be people who don't try and return. Earlier on, they were actually sort of teasing the police officers to say, we're coming back to carry on looting until the soldiers have arrived. So the soldiers have arrived, and we're yet to see what these community members are going to do now.
Yeah, Masego, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds there to catch your breath. Thank you to you and Teddy. You're doing an incredible job running and giving us these visuals live to us from Alexandra in Johannesburg.
I just want to show you, I'm sorry to do this. So the soldiers it was a full bus. So this bus is full of soldiers to deal with the situation in Alexandra. So I don't think they are going to take anything anymore. I think they're tired of what's been happening throughout the course of the day here. I'm sorry to talk while you were talking. Back to you, Clement.
No worries, Masego. The soldiers' deployment in Alexandra is important. We started seeing them being deployed in Pietermaritzburg, and there are a lot of questions that were asked this morning when the security cluster ministers were briefing the media around their deployment in other parts of the country. Already the concern is 2,500 is not enough. And I can already see the difference, the contrast, Masego, the visuals you showed us about 2 minutes ago, that area that was congested, and now when the soldiers arrived, it really looks pretty empty. So that's just a sign of how people are scared.
Okay, she's now stood up. But I mean, these are just unbelievable visuals that we are bringing you this morning. But now let's go to Soweto and find out from Griselda. Not looting happening there, Griselda, is there because there's nothing left in this shopping centre? Talk to us about what you're seeing.
All right, Leanne, the situation here is still very tense in Diepkloof in Soweto. You'd be able to see right here behind me, every single shop has been looted here. Police have actually left the spot now, where you can actually see residents have once again come into this particular area. And are now continuing to go into the shops and trying to take whatever it is that they want. Police had been here just a few moments ago, and they've just disappeared. The security here also at the Diepkloof Square. Let's move towards that direction here. You see some of the looting is taking place. The police have completely left the spot. All right, we move towards this direction. Stones are being pelted from where I am at the moment. You see residents running towards that direction, trying to be pushed back by what is just one JMPD, Johannesburg Metro Police Department truck. Every time they try to come to this particular area, it seems that police are unable to contain the situation. We're going to try and speak to some of the workers here and find out. Sanibonani njani? Nisebenza lana sis? How nisizwa kanjani sisingayo yonke lento?
Kubuhlungu kakhulu nje ukuthi silahlekelwe imisebenzi ngento esingayazi ukuthi hayi besithathela ukudla kwethu. Thina ingane zethu zosala zilambile bona bayodla.
Yafuna sifane nabo ngoba nje bangaba bahlela emalokishini nathi sihlala emalokishini njengabo masimbabo. Thina abanye sibhadala amarente thina abanye. Asazi manje siyophila kanjani ngendaba yabo ngoba bona abasebenzi. Sinabantwana thina.
Has just, Leanne, this is absolutely devastating here. Someone has just been beaten to the ground here. It seems now there's a scuffle between. It seems now there's a scuffle between. Careful. Let's move towards this direction. Seems to be a scuffle now between the residents who don't want the looting to continue here. You heard some of those who work at some of the establishments here saying that they have now lost their jobs, and at this particular point they're very concerned about the situation here. I mean, just, Leanne, very few police officers at this particular point here. There's absolutely nothing that they can do about the situation, because from where I'm standing, every time they move to one particular direction, as we had been reporting from yesterday as well, they try to move to one area and then the looting continues in different aspects. So what you're having now is workers, for example, like those that I've just spoken to a few moments ago, who are indicating that they're very aggrieved by what is taking place. They have nothing to do with these protests. Now they've basically lost their bread and butter. I think of major concern as well, many talking about the economic impact of what is taking place, because Clearly, these shops are not going to be able to open anytime soon. The damage on its own, without being an economist, you could clearly see is something that is going to range within millions and millions of rand. The ATMs here, every single one of them has been destroyed here at the Diepkloof Square. And I'll actually talk to some of that. I mean, we showed you this a bit earlier on. Maybe we could move towards that particular direction with my colleague so that we could speak to some of those ATMs, butcheries, the local McDonald's here. That has also been completely destroyed. And what we'd indicated a bit earlier on, you have to more of a cat and mouse a situation where you're moving from one area to the other. Very difficult to try and cover every single aspect, because the minute you move to one area, you actually find that in other areas as well, that's where the violence is continuing. Old Mutual, African Bank, there's clearly not going to be any operations taking place here anytime soon. So let me just try and go in here and just have a look. You'd see here, this is Old Mutual. Old Mutual, absolutely, probably nothing to loot here, but everything basically destroyed. Windows, doors, everything. And I'll show you a particular interest as well, Leanne. If we come towards this direction, you'd see here the ATMs at this particular spot completely destroyed here. It's a shot that we tried to show you a little bit earlier on. I'll take you there in just a few seconds. So every single ATM, irrespective of the branch or bank, all of that completely destroyed. You could see that absolute force, take a look here, absolute force being used to destroy what is taking place here. You see someone also still inside here at the back of these ATMs. Police are not in a position, keyboards or keypads, everything, anything that they could basically get their hands on has been completely destroyed. So it's going to be very difficult. I mean, one would have, I guess, thought that the sentiments shared by the president yesterday in calling for calm and restoration of some kind of peace and stability, that certainly didn't seem to help. And most importantly, with the South African National Defence Force indicating that they're going to deploy in areas of concern. KwaZulu-Natal, we've seen the deployment there. In Gauteng, take a look here. Here you go. More looting, police now firing rubber bullets. The situation here completely out of control. That looks like the security from this area who is now firing bullets. They're trying to get them out of the mall at this stage. A bit of cat and mouse, because every time they try to do that, take a look, that is the security guard who is firing at this particular point. And here's the one firing at this point. They're basically trying to get those who are participating in the looting out of, but there's nothing left to salvage here. There is nothing left to salvage here because everything has been taken. Clothes, food, anything. In the local pharmacy here, I see the Clicks. That too has been completely destroyed. So it's a tough situation at the moment where a criminal element clearly has now, taking a look at some of the headlines that you read a bit earlier on this morning, Leanne, from the newspapers. I saw one of them, I think it was the Citizen, that had basically said this was a looting or, violence without a cause. That is the sentiment that is being shared at the moment, because those who are now bearing the brunt of the ongoing violence that we are seeing are certainly individuals who are working in these shops, who are complaining about what is taking place. The local KFC here as well, Steers, Debonair's Pizza, everything. Take a look. I mean, nobody really cares here. That plastic coming out of Clicks, almost as if it's been purchased, been packaged quite well. So whatever it is that was needed was clearly taken. Police completely do not have a handle over the situation here. This is exactly what's taking place here now. We're probably going to have to move to one of the other areas that has been affected, but from where we are at this particular point, it certainly seems like it's going to take a very long time for restoration or trying to get these shops up and running again. And remember as well, here police trying to chase here we have an arrest. Police trying to arrest us. Go a bit closer. A lot of screaming. More shots being fired. That one being let go, being told to leave. Oh. All right, they're being chased out of the mall at this particular stage. Take a look there. Fleeing in the middle of the road, some of the cars. Leanne, of concern, you were talking about someone who was just bumped over by a car. The situation itself so dangerous because while the private security here, as well as the police fire, it's just scatter everywhere. Everyone basically fleeing in different directions. The looting itself continues. Every time police try to get everyone out of the mall, they come right back again, completely overpowered in terms of what they can do, in terms of the manpower that police themselves have. So residents standing there, clearly at this point trying, all right, more stones being thrown, I think. Stones are also being flung at this particular point. Just take a look there. Residents fleeing, keep throwing stones at the security here. We're also just trying to remain a bit safe. So this private security guard is on his own at this particular point. This right here at the entrance, he's on his own. He's the only one who's armed at this particular point. More police I can hear from a certain direction coming this particular way, perhaps to try and come and assist. But we'll just try and have a look towards that direction as well. But the looting itself continues. On one end, members of the community. On the other hand, whom we've spoken to, residents or in fact, all right, more stones being thrown. Let me just try to move away. Right next to us. Colleagues, be careful. Stay together. Leanne, trying to work with some of our colleagues as well, other broadcasters. We really have to, I guess, it's a story for another day, where we literally have to stand in one part to try and protect each other as well. I'm going to speak to some of these workers as well. Njengabantu abasebenzayo lana abakantsheli sisi ukuthi kuyobuyelwa nini ngiyabona ukuthi yonke into seyimoshakele nje nisizwa kanjani omunye usise besithi yena hayi inhliziyo zenu zibhlungu impela nje cela ufake imask baba siyacela emhlonisha ngokuhloniphekelileyo kakhulu. Alright, siyabonga.
Siphatheke kabuhlungu kakhulu, especially imisebenzi yethu. Manje siyohlala emakhaya, asazi ukuthi siyophinde sisebenze noma ngesiphinde sisebenze, asazi noma izovulwa amashop, siyohlala emakhaya, asinakudla, asinalutho. Ibhlungu inhliziyo zethu, asazi nama rent ukuthi siwabhadala ngani ngoba siyarenta. Inhliziyo zethu zibhlungu kakhulu.
Omunye baba
ngisho straight. Sir,
we must apologize for the swearing there. Sir, unfortunately, we have to abide by the rules. Sakela, you can put your point across, sir, without swearing. Other people will not appreciate it. Yeah.
If it wasn't for Zuma and shit and everything, life would have been fine. But now listen, people are suffering now because of what? One person. No, fuck off there.
All right, we must apologize for that, Leanne. Obviously, them airing their views. It's live television. We have absolutely no control over that. But the sentiment being shared, like I indicated, on the one hand, just take a look. These are the workers who are affected here. These are the workers who, I guess, for a couple of months now, are not going to have any form of employment. And obviously, no work, no pay. You heard some of them say they're worried about how they're going to be able to pay their rent. It's going to be a tough a couple of months. Already in an economy itself that is seriously buckling under the effects of COVID-19. But these are the faces. These are the faces of those. I see a medical, an emergency medical services, an ambulance being brought in here. I'm just going to go and have a look at perhaps if anyone is coming in here to try and get assistance. Perhaps we had previously seen was just someone who had been hurt, who'd been hit on the head. All right, it's turning away at the moment. I think they were just basically here to try and see if there was anyone who needed some assistance. So that's what the situation is at this particular point. I think Liana, I understand that there's a police officer who has been injured here. That's why the that's why the ambulance has come through at this point, and that's exactly it. The president also indicating yesterday, you'd recall, sending well wishes to those who had been injured, 4 police officers, if my memory serves me well. That is the police officer who has been injured. It really is a tough situation. That is the ambulance that is reversing. You'll see he will receive some treatment here now. We're going to try and give a bit of space. We won't go a bit too close, but here, this police officer, this is exactly what is taking place. Those who are trying to restore law and order are also now coming under attack. And this is the paramedics who have been brought in to try and assist this police officer. I'll try to find out exactly what the extent of his injuries are at this particular point. But most importantly, I think him trying to receive that care at this particular point is most important. And he will be taken out into the ambulance. Now, these are live pictures from the Diepkloof Square. A helicopter also hovering, which I think will certainly focus on that visual at the moment. He looks to be in excruciating pain at this particular point. Looks like he really is in tears, Leanne. And while that takes place, the pelting of stones continues. The looting continues. Police trying to manage the situation. 2 paramedics assisting the police officer who has been injured here at the Diepkloof Square in Soweto.
All right, thanks
if you've
to
just joined
Griselda
us
Lewis there,
live.
just reporting from, as you've heard, Diepkloof, where devastating scenes are unfolding. And what I find quite difficult is that the police cannot get a hold on this. It's almost beyond them. As you heard Griselda saying, they go in, they try, then the crowds disperse, and from another direction, another crowd comes in. And yeah. So
but we need answers. This has happened for a number of days in a sustained fashion. Last night, the president addresses the nation, and he says, and I want to quote him, among other things, the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, known as the NatJoints, has intensified deployment in all the affected areas in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. Now, I'm asking you with tears in my navy blue eyes, where has the protection been intensified?
Yeah.
If you look at what's happening on Queen Nandi Drive right now, where is the intelligence? Because you should have known that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Where is the support for those police officers on the ground? You spoke about the deployment of the army. You spoke to an SANDF communications person who said they are on the ground.
And that was one of the questions I asked him. So people were writing in and saying to me, okay, but where are they exactly, and has anyone seen them? And then, of course, the Brigadier General was saying to me, no, we have pictures of them there. They're there.
So where are they?
Well, where are they? That's what we're asking. But we haven't got any visuals or pictures of them. In fact, if you have got, please send them to us, and so we can actually visually see the SANDF on the ground. But if you missed a bit earlier, visuals that were coming out of KwaZulu-Natal, and that was on Queen Nandi Drive, we saw looters literally crossing over a bridge with I don't
all
even know how
sorts
to
of things,
describe it.
whatever they could
Dishwashers,
find.
Fridges, mattresses, you
Food.
name it, food. They were all going
Laundry baskets,
to
whatever
the
you can
warehouses.
think of.
So they've looted
Yeah.
the shops. Now they're moving to
To
the
the
warehouses.
warehouses.
And our team have had to leave because of the situation was just too unstable. I mean, this was where we crossed away. I mean, I actually saw a lady being knocked over by a vehicle, but then jumping up and standing up and carrying on walking. But I mean, that's the kind of situation, and it is just too much for the police to handle. We saw that. They can't get a grip on this.
But what does that mean? If you say this is too much for the police to handle, and we go through a list of reasons why they are understaffed, perhaps incapacitated by just the sheer numbers that they have to deal with, the volatility of the situation. We can run through a whole rubric of things that we can tick off against. But why is that the case? Why is this happening? Because after the president spoke last night, you would have thought that, okay,
we would have woken up to a different scene this morning.
Maybe things would be different this morning. They are not. Why?
It's intensifying and it's getting worse. I mean, I'm getting a report coming now from, this is out of Tshwane. So police are at the scene at the Mums Mall in Mamelodi. This is in the east of Pretoria, where looters are picking up basically what is left of the carcass of a building. The mall was looted last night with a bank, ATMs, and all of the shops broken into and plundered, and a burnt-out police vehicle is parked outside the mall. So they have now burnt the police station, and the only evidence of police being on the scene last night is that burnt-out police car. Videos were shared on social media of the looting taking place in Attridgeville and in Soshanguve in the city of Tshwane, and police have refused to comment on the situation. They say that they will hold a press briefing a bit later. In fact, that's what's happening right now in KwaZulu-Natal.
In KwaZulu-Natal with the Premier Sihle Zikalala.
Yeah.
But, you know, the story